So we join back in with our adventurers after last week. Ichi and Dante were hard at work trying to collect a sponsor so that the group may take part in the upcoming Doom Hakra, a death race using Aether Stream vehicles, while Aileni and Volu took to the libraries and temples to find out more information on why they had been feeling so uneasy and what was the meaning of Volu's dreams. Unfortunately, we join them now in not the best of states, as Volu has just learned that his home might not exist anymore. While on the other side of the city, Dante encountered a stranger in the streets, blacking out and finding a notepad on himself and discovering that something that he had feared for a long time has come true. He began to boil up and lose control and unwillingly unleashed a fiery blade from his own blood. Ichi managed to quell the flames by using his own channel divinity to give Dante the strength to resist against the creature that tries to take over him. So we join now. So where we left off for Aileni and Volu, you guys were left downstairs, sort of
I was
pondering.
munching on the spare sandwiches.
Volu was munching away. Aileni's probably a little bit. Yeah, Aileni's probably a little confused.
Disturbed, I think.
They haven't come down for maybe 20 minutes. And upstairs, the almost smell of like freshly put out candles.
What
and just
what
the
time
dark
of night
quiet
is
of
it?
the room. It's not quite. It's maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock. It's not super late.
Yeah. Okay. And is it still quite busy in here? There were quite a lot of patrons in, weren't there?
It is, and actually, I don't think I need the perception. Aileni and Volu, you would notice, like almost in a big contrast to most of the people that are in here, a very well dressed human sort of almost jogs into the room, like takes a breath, looks around, reaches within a very nice dinner jacket almost, and pulls out a message, like a note.
Okay.
And walks straight up to it's not Alara, it is walks straight up to the barkeep and hands them the note before, again, just as quickly turning on the spot and jogging out of the establishment. The barkeep sort of looks at the note a little confused and sort of, anyone in there with chaotic embers?
I'll stand up and head over to the bar. Yes, that would be us.
Note for you. They just sort of throw you the piece of the letter. It is an envelope. It literally just has chaotic embers written on the front of it.
I'll take it back to the table before I open it. And I will open it and read it.
Okay, so it seems to be a note. So it reads as such. Dear Chaotic Embers, we are in need of a driving team. We wish to discuss with you and your team fee and contract. If you are agreeable with this, there will be a cart to collect you outside of the Bloody Banner at 8 a.m. in the morning, first light. If you do not wish to accept or are already booked, please just do not take the ride. And then it is just signed TG.
T.G. Like initials.
Yeah.
Age.
Okay. Is
The glass
Volu
family.
still
So
tomping
you've
his
just
way
have
through?
you just read that out loud, Aileni?
I wouldn't have read it out loud. I would have skimmed
No.
it, and then I'd look at you and see, have you eaten everything yet?
I've probably got 3 or 4 like bites to go, but I can see that like you're reading it, and I'm interested to hear what it says. Almost like where the half a mouthful is like, what's it say?
It seems like we have more than one opportunity. I don't know who these people are though, but apparently there's a car that we can drive if we want it.
Do you think it's the people that Ichi has spoken to?
Actually, weren't they the Glass family? I don't know the first name, but it could be something Glass. I think we need to talk to Ichi and Dante about it. How about you hold the table and maybe finish up here, and Aileni has no idea how much money you have. I'm gonna chuck a gold on the table and say maybe get a round of drinks or something, and I'm just gonna go and see how long they're gonna be.
Okay.
And yeah, I'll head up and see if I can find.
Okay.
Yeah.
You make your way up the stairs. Give me a perception, because you actually don't know where they're staying. It's not like you're both staying here at the minute. So you get up to the landing and there's like 6 doors, 3 on the left, 3 on the right.
I'm just gonna knock or listen or whatever. So yeah, perception.
Just knock on each door.
Yeah.
Hello? No. Housekeeping.
Okay, with a 24, there are a few noises that allow you to eliminate rooms. So you hear a baby crying in one, you hear like a woman talking with somebody else inside another. As you get sort of towards the end of the corridor, you smell like that sort of, but like I said, like candles have all been put out, but like a lot of candles. It's almost like a big bunch of candles were all just extinguished at once just then.
Okay. I would knock.
For those inside, as you sit in the dark, sort of holding this tense moment, there is a.
Who is it?
It's Aileni.
Come in.
I will walk in.
As probably we were just stood as from where we left off, in that like small amount of time of like Aileni coming up the stairs, and you open the door, you probably find both Dante and Ichi kind of more on their knees, like in just like as all of the strength has just kind of like left their body, and they're both just kind of like Ichi's still holding on to Dante's head, but rather than being forehead to forehead, it's more Dante's head on Ichi's shoulder.
Next to us, you'll see Dante's sword that is glowing.
Okay.
And looking and kind of like almost sizzling on the floor.
Aileni would come in and she would almost lean on the door to shut it. She's staying right by the door. She's not coming any further into the room. And actually, Ichi, if you're looking, you would see that she puts her hand on the hilt of a dagger.
Mm-hmm. You
Everything
don't need to worry about that. Things are better now.
Better than what?
This is probably a conversation that Volu should be here for as well. It's not fair to.
Yes, I agree. Let me go and get him. We've also had a letter.
Of course, we'll discuss everything when you both come back.
I'll go, Liam, and I'll probably head about halfway down the stairs. and sort of see if I can catch his eye from across the room.
Once you've given me the gold coin, I'm gonna take
Yeah,
it.
I'm gonna rewind and just bring it back that few minutes to so yeah. So you take the coin.
Yeah. So I take the gold coin, and I go up to the bar and ask if we can get a round of drinks, and also if they're still serving any food.
Like yeah, around what sort of drinks you want? Wine, ales.
What would you recommend?
Most expensive drink on the.
Yeah,
Never.
Give me a
The whole
persuasion.
gold coin.
I assume you're holding up the gold as well.
Yeah, I'm right. What did you want? Persuasion. I've had excellent persuasion rolls so far.
I think he should get us a round of absinthe.
That one.
Brilliant.
He looks at you for a minute, looks at the gold, shrugs, and is like, ale.
4 of those, please.
Yeah, and for food, yeah, of course. Do you want a bowl and bread or meat, chicken? So what do you want?
All of that, please.
Is that right? You are the drinks, 8 copper.
Okay.
The food, what do you want? I'll put a bowl, bit of meat, bit of chicken. It's probably going to be about 6 silver.
Okay. And then, yeah, I'll just chuck that over and then pocket the 1 gold.
Yeah, look, brings the drinks over. It says, food will be a minute. As you're doing this, Volu, you notice, you sort of hear, so not shouting like aggressive shouting, but there's almost like over the hum of the room, there's like a, and as it gets closer, there's a small halfling, not a ghostwise, a Lightfoot, with curly blonde hair, a sort of long dress robe, and they've got like a basket or slung over their arm, and as they're getting closer, we're selling different kind of threads for the weaving contest. We are only a small maker, but we have the best kinds of threads. And they're like sort of, and as you look, it's a young female halfling, maybe about 14, 15. They've got like, as you sort of look, they're dressed in what would be a fairly nice gown. But as you sort of cast a glance over it, it's clearly like what they wear all the time. The edges are frayed. It looks like, they don't take it runs through the mud and the rain whenever it happens to rain in the area. And they're sort of just selling small spools of thread, like 2 silver for a plain color, 3 silver for one that's glittery, and they're like sort of coming around, and you can see that there's some people that definitely aren't weavers that are just like, all right, kid, go on, give us one, my wife, and they sort of hand over, and there's people sort of almost taking pity on what you could, maybe you haven't, and actually interesting is it sort of brings this mind to you. In Clearpool, there was a little bit of, not massive amounts, but there was a little bit of homelessness. And you did see people that on the very fringes of poverty and those sorts of things. You haven't seen that since getting to Cadfesti. There aren't, while literally, I mean, obviously you've encountered the children that said they kept getting thrown out and stuff. You haven't seen people on the streets, if that makes sense. But you have a number of times now encountered what are clearly the more impoverished of the city and of the local civilians. As they sort of come up to the bar, they sort of turn to you and say, "What about you, sir? a nice purple thread maybe, or a green, and they sort of like pulling through, and you can see the basket sort of split. On one side they've got the like black and white, and you can tell it's like it's a little bit more thicker. It's definitely what you know is the joining threads that you would use in between different materials. And then on the left hand side there's a thinner, almost more decorative, and they are sort of, you would be able to tell that they have been dyed fairly hastily. It doesn't look like it's, again, it doesn't look like a professional job in any sense. But you see 2 or 3 in there that have been done quite well.
Hi. So I quite like the purple one. And did you say that one glitters? Can I see it a bit more in the light?
Please take a look, and they offer it out for you to take and have a look. And say, Aileni, you're sort of coming down the top of the stairs as this interaction as this is happening. So you would be sort of getting to that position where you're looking for it. He's not at the table. But sorry, Volu.
So yeah, I'll kind of inspect the threads and see that they are reasonable quality. Like, it seems like it's been in a bit of a rush.
Do you want to give me a intelligence, add your proficiency for your weaving proficiency?
Do you have like weaver set and all that?
Doesn't have the set, I don't think, but he is proficient in it.
That's cool. I do like when we get a chance to kind of use any of our kind of just random skills.
Well, again, I've been looking at the Xanathars, and it's like you should get bonuses to like history checks about weaving, right? If their history check is about clothing, and you were taught cloth, like.
Well, I get it. It's just let's face it. When does
it.
that come up?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I try and involve
You
it.
never know.
Yeah,
okay, so
I got a 17.
Is that plus proficiency? So your proficiency bonus should be up at the top near initiative.
Oh no, so yeah, dirty 20 then.
Okay, nice. I think it is +3 right now at level 5.
Yeah.
Perfect. So you look it over, and while the dye job is definitely rushed, it does sort of glitter, and the actual thread is made very well. As you sort of looking this over, it's just that however, with that roll, you would also pick up on the sort of inside what you know to be a weaver's mark, as you would recognize with that roll, this spool of thread belongs to somebody. It's almost like the bit that they've wrapped, the spool in the middle that you've wrapped the thread around. You keep yours, right? When it runs out, you don't just bin them. You keep it for if you're going to collect more thread, or if you're going to go to the markets where you can pull the threads by the distance. Yeah, that spool in the middle is handmade and belongs to somebody.
So I'll carry on inspecting it and notice that it is good quality thing. Like, these are beautiful. How did you find such threads? And then I'll kind of brush my finger over the mark.
Give me an insight.
Uh, 13.
Okay, they definitely like blush, and they're like, no, not allowed to say. No, we made them. It just holds that pose.
I'll kind of look and hold the same sort of pose.
She'll then just suddenly go, Thank you for your purchase, sir. Anybody for thread? And she just walks straight away from you and leaves. Doesn't even ask for any. And you would see they're still shouting out like thread for the weaving contest, but they're very quickly sort of like now ducking between people and sort of heading towards the exit. I'd say Volu, give me a perception. Aileni, you can give me an advantage perception. You would have a better view of the movement through the crowd.
Yeah. 23.
Like literally all of them.
Great dear.
I think the cat steals them, honestly.
Blame the cat. It's definitely the cat.
No,
Always.
genuinely, she steals my dice. I literally found a
Don't
D20.
believe it. Don't believe it.
I found a D20 in the kitchen. I was just like, what? Why?
You look as she hasn't swallowed one and
for
choked to
initiative.
death.
No, she actually pretty good. There is one. Okay.
Yeah, 23.
Okay, so both of you manage to keep sight of her as she darts through the crowd and out of the main door. I'd say Aileni with the 23, it looked like they were running, they sort of turned left almost further into the crucible rather than
Okay.
like right towards the way up.
I would be coming down the stairs, but I would watch to see whether Volu was following her or not.
Well, what you're doing is just standing there with this.
Am I interrupted by the barkeep at all, or?
No, because your food's not ready yet. Like the drinks are behind you. Maybe somebody sort of like, are these yours, mate?
Yeah, so I would kind of look between the drinks and then see that she's going, and then at that point, like probably clock that Aileni's looking at me as well, and I'll just grab the drinks and kind of start to head towards Aileni.
Okay.
Okay, I'd meet you at the bottom of the stairs and maybe take some of the drinks off you and say, what was all that about?
That young halfling, they had some really cool threads, but I'm not sure they were hers, if you understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't have an issue with that. I was happy to buy them, but when I just mentioned where she got them from, she left in a hurry.
She probably thought that you were going to get her in trouble. But there's some other trouble. I think we need to go upstairs. Is this everything?
I mean, Dante looked. I did eat some of his food. He might be hungry, so I did get some food for all of us, and then I'll kind of turn around and eye roll, realizing that I'm going to have to share food, and
I would
go back to the bar and say, "Can you bring it upstairs when it's ready?"
Yeah, I would probably have told you the room number if I'd clocked it on the thing and just say, can you bring it up?
Yeah, do you want us to we'll just leave it outside and knock when it's there?
That'd be perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, barkeep. And then I'll just turn around and start.
And then
along.
we'll head upstairs. When we get to the top landing, so we're now in the corridor, but we're not yet at the door, I would just say there's something definitely not right with Dante. Apparently it's not time to run away yet, but yeah, maybe keep your wits about you.
Oh, okay. But we're okay to go in.
She asked us to.
He's not.
But
He's not like he was in the tower.
no, his sword's a bit glowy. You'll see when we get in there. And I would go and knock, but then just open the door straight away, and then just say it's me as I walk in.
And in the meantime, what have Dante and Ichi done? Obviously, Aileni left. You would know she will be returning in a moment with Volu. The sword is starting to fade.
It doesn't, does it?
No, it was like a whole day or something, wasn't it?
It
was on a
stays
cloud.
on.
True.
Stays
No,
until
that's-
short or long rest.
That was why I've just said, even if it's not holding it, it's just
Yeah.
on the floor. It's just
Mhm.
sizzling.
Mm.
As the door kind of closed with Aileni leaving, Ichi kind of like props Dante so that they're kind of like sitting with their back against the bed. Then kind of like sits back, brings one knee up and just kind of like rests on it. Do you want to talk to them about it, or?
I will tell them. They probably should know.
It's probably best, especially if they're wanting to stick around with us.
More people to be ready if needed.
Ichi will stand and sit on the bed next to Dante and just kind of like put a hand down on their shoulder and just kind of pat it.
Dante starts like kind of just reaching his arm out and just looking at it. Some of his burns are itching and they're hurting, which they haven't done since obviously, say, at time of merging.
As you kind of do that, Ichi will. Are you okay?
Something is happening. I'm not sure what. And then looks at his sword that's now probably about 5 to 10 feet away from him, kind of just on the floor, just staring. I do not know how I did that.
I think it did. I don't think you had a choice of that. But if its power's getting stronger, that's because it's feeding off you. It knows you're getting stronger.
That's it. At this point, the knock comes at
That
the
is
door.
that is not comforting.
Please come in. As obviously Aileni's already like opened the door and it's like, yeah, please.
I'd put the drinks I'm carrying on whatever, if there's like a bedside table or something like
Yeah.
that.
There is only
Yeah.
2 beds, but it's 2 bed. There's like a desk and
Yeah.
a chair and.
I would
Okay.
remain standing and I would be. I think. As we walk in, I would be weighing up where Volu is and where the door is, and trying to make sure that there is a clean exit if we need it.
Ichi's put Dante and themselves on the bed that's furthest from the door
Right.
to kind of like invite that aspect of you have a clear
Yeah.
exit.
Yeah, as we enter, I kind of see that you're there, and I'm about to say like hello, but like because I see you're kind of in the corner almost, I'll be like, hey.
Dante's got his orange hair trickling down his face, just over the front of it. Very emo kid style.
At
Oh,
that
dear.
point, I'll kind of chuck one jug to Aileni and then kind of just not go any further into the room.
In his 300 odds, and he's only now hitting his emo face.
Yeah.
Not a phase, man.
I would pull out the note, and I would say, this arrived. We might as well get this out of the way first, because I suspect the rest will take longer.
Of course.
And I would just open. I'd read it out, and apparently, they are in need of a team to drive a car. They want to discuss fee and contract. They're going to send a cart for us at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning here. And basically, they've said if we're not interested, just don't take the cart and don't get in. And it's signed TG. Is that anyone that either of you have been speaking to?
Yes, that might be from the Glass family. What was the brother's name? It's the one name I didn't know. I've got. Is it Thaddeus? Yeah.
Thaddeus.
And you want to make me? It can be a history, if not history, just straight intelligence.
Myself?
Yes, please,
How they've
Ichi.
signed stuff in the past, I'm guessing.
Whoop. Whoop. That's a 4.
Yeah, could be.
I assume it would be from the Glass family that I was talking to. I was talking to the brother, Thaddeus, could be. They, whereas a lot of the other vehicles in the Doom Hackra are obviously cinder smoke engines, with if Dante is to be the driver, I feel like the less volatile engine we have, the better. Thaddeus has oh god, a cloud engine vehicle that they could offer for us to drive. The main difference obviously being that it doesn't have as much combustion and acceleration due to it being a cloud engine, but I managed to encourage them to maybe add some attachments, perhaps a grappling harpoon that would allow us to slingshot ourselves forwards, allowing for both destruction of other vehicles and increased momentum temporarily to hopefully overtake the competition.
Well, the messenger was very well dressed. I mean, the wording seems a little formal if it's the person you only just spoke to, but I mean, you could probably
They
tell me more
are
than.
the Glass family are quite well known within the city. They are the inventors of the glass cloud, of the cloud engine, and kind of in origin of the Aether Stream vehicles. They are one of
Right.
the heads of that technology, really, which is why everything would be so formally addressed. The brother's a little bit more chaotic in and I mean this as a compliment, chaotic crackpot kind of energy of doesn't really care about the name of the family or if the vehicle competes with the cloud of the cinder smoke, but is always kind of seems to be looking for the next fun thing to be inventing, which is why I kind of seeded the idea of perhaps a
I would say,
pump and
Ichi,
dump.
as you're looking, there is an element of this letter. This letter was written out,
Mhm,
and whoever signed it at the end.
mhm.
Okay.
You gather the TG is not in the same style
Yeah.
or penmanship as the written letter.
Officially scribed and then signed at the end.
So we potentially have two different vehicles and two very different reasons for why we might take those jobs. But before that,
That
if
actually is quite a convenience passage into it. Dante?
Dante will stand up and walk over towards the broken mirror. You guys would notice that probably some haphazard bandaging has gone over his hand. Still quite bloodied, but obviously now taken care of. The mirror shattered still around the floor and comes up. There is something you clearly must know. I am much older than I have appeared before. In fact, I am older than, say, maybe than most people you may meet. There is something inside of me that has controlled me and my body for over 300 years. It has caused unimaginable pain. And I've witnessed things that nobody should ever witness. I have blood on my hands that I can never wash off. And no matter how hard I try, I will never get the freedom I'd need. I am from the continent of Osterville. I was once just a small, insignificant tradesman from a little town called Applegate. No longer there, I believe. I had a wife and a child, and will pull out a couple of like little wooden carvings. I made these all those years ago to always keep them close. I was taken by a group of power-hungry magic fiends, and safe to say, without going too much, someone was trying to harness the power of an Afriti. That did not go to plan, and instead the Afriti took me. I blacked out, and the next time that I saw anything, every person, man, woman, child, dog, everybody was slaughtered, and not just killed, they were butchered. Their parts were thrown around. They were burned in different areas, so it wasn't just a blast. And from that point on, I had no control over anything that I was doing. They've gone through. I have gone through, and his name is Tenebris. Tenebris Solis. It means the dark sun. And wherever he is from, he does not seem to care for life, and he is just pure chaos. They've writ like there are times when he would give me back some monicum of power, just to toy with me, to make me feel like I could somehow win back. But that was just for his own perverse enjoyment. Any person that I came close to, any person that I tried to save, he would go down and butcher and burn and snap me back in just at the point of the flames. I can hear those screams. I made a name. Well, I didn't. That thing made a name for what it did. And that was when Ichi and his master came for me. Pure sorrow and sad, like looking down in guilt. His master put some sort of a trapping spell to try to banish this beast and free me, even in death. It's freedom that I deserve and just wish that I can get. But when he's about something happened, looks over towards Ichi. We're not sure exactly what. But Tenebris was too strong and was able to snap his master's neck at the point of the spell, not completing it. So now he is bound inside me, and and we are going back to his order to help free me from the rest and help free this monster out of me and get it gone. Doesn't deserve to live. I don't deserve to live.
Dante.
If this thing comes out and looks over towards Volu and Aileni, if he comes out, you have two options. Kill me quicker than you can ever move, or run and do not stop, because Tenebris is evil. He will rip you apart. He will rip everyone you love apart. And he will just do it for his pleasure and to do it to torture me further. I have been trying to keep maintain any control. I seem to have some of his abilities, or minorly so. Looking at the sword, I have never done something like that. I'm not entirely sure what is around me, but all I can say is that I'm sorry, and I do not want to be this monster. And just turns around and slams his hands down again onto the sink.
Does Aileni know what an Afriti is? Does he know what it
I
means?
believe we rolled last time.
Yeah.
Because someone shouted
Oh,
out
yeah, 'cause
Afriti.
they
didn't
said
they?
an Afriti,
someone
yeah.
called Afriti.
Sorry.
I am pretty sure you don't know all the details, but you know it's a fire
Yes,
genie.
it was I knew the myths.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, I am here as a precaution to stop that creature getting out.
And can you stop that creature getting out?
I believe so. Or at least my order can. If we manage to get Dante back to one of the many abandoned monasteries or chapels, sectors of my order, there might be more information that I can get. The ritual that my master was in the process of doing was cut short. I believe the steps of the ritual were binding the form further to Dante's body, bringing Dante's spirit forwards to regain control, and then using Dante's spirit to overpower the Afrits, thus shunting them away from this plane. Before that could happen, my master was slain. The one thing I will say that I am almost certain about is that if it ever does come to fighting, if we are going to put this thing down, make sure it is in control. If for a second Dante comes back and we strike Dante down, the Ifrit will be free. Dante's soul, Dante's energy is the only thing binding that right now. If that is extinguished, that thing has full control. All of its powers,
Is it?
fire will reign.
Does it require Dante to be awake?
No. And this is where I kind of like look at Dante at the sink. Dante fell asleep the other night, and I believe the Ifrit took control of the body.
Dante looks up at you now, scared and angry.
I'm not sure. They were calm, collected.
Of course he was. He's not someone who he knows how to play with people.
I know.
What did he do?
He flirted. He went down to the bar and was just chauvinistic, arrogant. But the bar was empty.
You're like just describing Chris's best qualities.
He was chauvinistic, arrogant. The bar was empty, and when I confronted them, all of the patrons of the bar suddenly came exploding back in through the door after being on a race. I feel like there's some kind of mind magic as well that this thing has. that I was not aware of. Being able to take control of Dante is one thing, but being able to also control others while still in this form is incredible and terrifying. I thought it was just my own mistake at one point due to the fact that when I spoke to Dante, they seemed to understand the ritual that we go through of trying to make sure that Dante is in control. And then the next morning when I spoke to them, I apologized for interrupting him, and he seemed to respond as if he knew what I was talking about, but I don't think he does, looking over at Dante and seeing a quite clearly confused face.
Not confused, angry.
So that was a lapse of my judgment. But now, after this, seeing this, I can't question that. That was not Dante.
No, it wasn't.
So we have a real problem because this now doesn't sound like this thing is taking control at times of stress.
No.
Which means he could come out at any time, and
He
we
could-
have
he-
no
he could be
plan
here
B.
now.
No, this is Dante. I managed to give them the strength to at least push back on control. It's not something I can always do. I can maybe do it like once a day. It takes a lot out of me, but
Aileni's stalking, like pacing up and down in the room.
I understand how this seems. But Dante is a good person. I want to try and help them at least.
In both.
Volu's mind is racing, and he's just trying to understand what's going on. He's going to ask Ichi, so you know he's in control now. What was his name? Tenebris?
Tenebris.
Tenebris? Can he hear us now?
Probably.
Not sure.
I think it's safe to assume yes. Always assume yes.
I can say I do not feel him. Even when he used to toy with me, I knew there was elements which I wasn't able to feel.
But you didn't know that he'd come out the other night.
I did not. You must bind me at night. And looks over at Michi.
Ichi nods.
He cannot get out. I don't feel his strength, so he is still locked in there. But I am both prison and prison guard. I live in hell, but I cannot die. I must get this out of me.
I have sympathy for you, Dante. I cannot say for sure, but I'm sure you don't deserve this. However, I mean, I have my own path to tread. Volu has things that he needs to do. We're talking about driving someone's car in a race with a driver that could turn into a maniac any second.
I find when I'm concentrating, if I have something to be getting with, like when we have fought,
That's also why
my mood starts to become more fluid, and I feel more calm.
it's also gone.
I feel that I have more control when I'm focused, when I have something to aim for.
It's also why I sought out a non-cinder smoke engine, so we have options. I know Dante can wield these abilities, and Dante has been able to put a lot of those to good use in the past. So I don't think this is something that this isn't going to be something that's easy, and I acknowledge that, and I understand that you have your own paths to follow. But it would be a great aid if there were others to help go along this journey. We're more than happy, or at least I'm more than happy to help with any issues you have. But I've come to be quite fond of your companionship. It was nice to have a breath of fresh air for once, rather than it just being the doom and gloom that we deal with every day.
I can imagine.
Of course, that's
I
Yeah.
can understand, Aileni, why we shouldn't trust something so destructive, and we don't want to put ourselves in harm's way, but whether we like it or not, we are tied together. We are all doing this to try and get out of the debt of whoever has our names. As
That is
much
true.
as much as I don't like it, and as much as I've grown fond of Dante, I can't say I'm ecstatic about jumping into an cloud coach, whatever it's called. But it seems the only way we can move forward. And I know we had a rocky start, but I've grown fond of you too, Ichi.
And I kind of just glances up, say, from under my hair, and just stares at Volu and just gives a kind of almost like a thankful nod.
So, with all that being said, is anybody hungry?
Ichi does kind of let out a bit of a chuckle.
How are you still hungry, Volu?
How are you not hungry?
Dante?
Yes.
Well,
Yes,
it's a shame because Volu's already eaten all of your food. But I
And
believe there's
What did
some
I-
more coming.
almost on cue, there is you hear like a tray being put down outside and a soft knock, and then the footsteps away from the door outside.
I think we need a better plan B, Ichi.
What do you mean?
It is admirable that you believe you can be the doorstop between this thing and the outside world. But I can't think of anything right now that I or Volu could do if it does get out. And that's not good enough. That we need some plan. And if that means not sure ropes is going to work, if that means we shackle him at night, if that means
Ichi lifts up the covers on the side of the bed and puts a hand underneath and brings out the
Okay.
full body bind that I have to put on Dante sometimes.
If it
Just
didn't
kind of like-
sound kinky already,
I know, right?
hidden under the bed.
There's no I'm not just gonna keep it out on display.
I assume that you're going to speak to the magic school here. Maybe they have ways of dampening magic. I mean, how do they deal with magical prisoners? There must be ways of blocking that. And it might not
think-
stop his strength, but it could maybe stop him from controlling other people with magic or casting spells.
I think the thing I worry about magic dampening at this point is if I put them on him, what if that dampens the spell keeping Dante in control? Currently, that magical wall is the only thing that keeps Dante in control, and if that gets dampened,
But I'm
then
talking
yes,
about a situation where he's already out. I'm
if
not
he's
talking
already
about
out, I don't think we can put anything on him.
no, but there has to be a way,
Yes,
and we need some help because you're
that's
not
why I'm trying to
anywhere
find.
near your destination yet.
May
Don't
I
you
say,
have those? Oh, sorry.
No, go on.
if you bind me at night and under the watch of at least one between yourselves, make up a sign, a gesture, anything, something that I do not know. Then that way Tenebris cannot know it. And then if he does ever try to get out, or he tries to charm any of you, if you were to do it to the other person and they don't reply back with the same, you know something is up.
Okay.
Just I must stress, I must not know it.
Of course. Up until now, I've only been working with the idea that I am going to be the one watching Dante, so my plans have all been based on not being able to rely on other people, assuming that I am the only one watching. Now that if you choose to stay with us, by all means, yes, we will come up with other contingency plans.
Well, like Volu said, we don't have a lot of choice in the immediate future. We need to clear Volu's name. And I need some of this money.
Of course. Tomorrow we can, all four of us, go to the individuals that have your name and begin that conversation.
Remember TG.
And the
Yes.
gnomes. I assume that if the offer from TG is good enough that we are turning the gnomes down, especially as theirs is a cinder smoke engine.
Well, that's up to, I feel like, the collective. Cinder Smoke Engine will be faster, give us more of a chance directly of winning.
Is there enough room for 4 people in the car?
Typically, I believe they're one driver and maybe an additional individual.
It depends on the size.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I would say you've seen them modded for up to 4, but that is usually with an additional seat and not an attacking weapon or something like that. They can manage 3 if you're willing to not be in seats. If you imagine one driver in seat,
We're willing
another
to fully
standing.
Mad Max it off the side.
Yeah.
So do we do both?
I would say both. I don't like the idea of this cinder smoke. However, if anything was to get heated, cinder smoke or not really wouldn't do much difference to the damage.
I mean, I suppose it would give us more of a chance of winning, but should just look at Volu. I'm not sure I'm going to be much of a driver.
I can drive.
One of them.
Oh, what are we doing? 2 cars? For some reason, I
That
thought-
was what I was
No,
saying.
that's what she was suggesting.
Oh,
I was
I thought you
saying-
meant
Yeah, so
2 on 1.
yeah, that's why you said both of them. I'm like, oh, so we're splitting up. But
No,
Oh, sorry, I
so
thought you meant 2 on 1.
Yeah, so that's why I was saying if you're only going to fit 2, possibly 3 people in each car, we've got the choice between TG, and that could be the Glass family, but we don't know till we get there. We've got the gnomes who need to get their farm back.
Out of game, Chris is just going, and what are we going to
Who
win out of it?
cares?
Is that everybody's going to want part of this, like,
I
thing?
know.
Like,
Well,
They
that's why
needed
we're
600 out of the 1,000, but we'd still get the favour in theory, wouldn't we?
but then we need to hear the other side of it. But yeah,
But if we can't all 4 of us, and remember, I'm a 6-foot furbolg, so if we can't all 4 of us fit in one of these cars,
I'm only little.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Paul's only little.
So no, that's
I'm a
why I
little
said,
boy.
does that mean we do both?
All possibilities.
If we did another one, who can drive?
I have no idea. I've never even attempted to drive one of these things.
Because out of the 3 of you, Volu, I apologize, but I do not know of vehicles in the Feywild.
I've driven a horse.
Could be similar in the Feywild, I guess.
oh dear, I don't think any of us have very good decks, do we?
Well, I am a
Aileni's Dexy.
ranger.
I've got okay decks.
Yeah.
Okay, thank God.
I'm on a
I'm
+3.
the one. I'm the sorry sap with 0 decks, but I've
Yeah.
got -1 decks.
I'm +2.
Aileni is as trained as Dante is at driving. Dante is just far more confident in his
Got a
capabilities.
+7 animal handling. It's
But I've got
like-
+5 on my decks.
Yeah, that's why you're confident.
Yeah.
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 But you've never driven one. You just be like, I could probably do
How hard could it
I've
be?
got transferable skills.
it.
I think we need to see. I think we need to see TG, and I think we need to see Madam Oracle,
Yes.
and then make a decision.
And one of the things I think we should decide on is what is the speed difference? We know the cinder smoke is faster. I found that when talking to them, or talking to people.
I think
But-
regardless, you do not drive a cinder smoke engine.
Okay.
I agree with Ichi. I don't think it's safe. And as for the future, then we decide after that. I don't know where our journey is going to take us, Volu.
We can only go one step forward. Let's find out.
Is anyone getting the food from the door?
Yeah, I will now lead
Oh,
away from the door and
As
open it.
saying that, I'm kind of like,
Yeah, you managed to bring the food in. It's a little cool, but it still tastes good. And you are all,
It's enough for
all-
6
Dante.
people.
Dante won't be touching anything with meat, but if there's bread or whatever.
Yeah, there's breads and there's a few bowls of broth, and that is me. But
Let's say vegetable soup.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I'll be honest, got far enough back. It's probably all got animal fat in it.
Well,
But yeah, you
Okay.
eat your carrots and hummus.
as say, I'm just
Broccoli.
gonna. I can just imagine, say, as Volu goes to like grab, say, some of the bread or something, or like the bowl of bread or whatever. I've just pulled it away with my telepathy. I've just like, sent it over to me and just put it in my hand and just started.
I'm going to use.
Telekinesis.
I'm going to use my telepathy and just go. Well played.
Yeah.
Aileni is not eating. She has already eaten.
Yeah.
She's not eating anything else. And she'll sit on the other bed, sort of legs crossed under her, with her drink, and she's just watching.
I wanted to note the fact that Dante hasn't picked up or even looked towards his sword anymore. It's still glowing and it's still sizzling.
Well, so as you are eating, we essentially come to the end of a long rest. As there's maybe been talking back and
Long
forwards
rest?
and no short rest, but it will end at a short rest. So as we move into the night and the night gets a bit further on, Dante doesn't realize as his sword does stop glowing, and the mood seems to pick up a little bit. Aileni and Volu, is your intention to stay here as you sort of look out, it's starting to get to like 10 o'clock. If you were going to be heading back to the Rusty Bucket, you might want to do it soonish.
Is it like half an hour from there to here?
Yeah.
We've got to be back here for 8.
Are we okay to go?
Ichi, would you rather we stayed?
By all means, if you wish to go, you can. We have yet to be contacted by Madame Oracle about where to meet them, so I'm not worried about that. If you wish to stay, by all means, we can get you a room adjacent or across.
How would you contact us if there was a problem?
Look for smoke in the sky. Ichi kind of like morbidly chuckles.
Perhaps that's another thing we need to try and resolve.
I mean, these two seem to be able to talk in...
Volu can talk.
Dante just said the wrong word. He has telekinesis.
You have telekinesis, not
Yeah.
telepathy.
Yeah, I realised
okay.
what I said when he did it.
That's what, I was kind of ribbing you for it as well.
So, would you like to get a room or?
Someone can have my bed.
You still need someplace to sleep.
If it's on the chair or on the floor.
I'm going to head downstairs and just see if there's even a room free, Liam.
Roll me a D100.
It's fine. We can get rid of one of the tenants.
Once say like Ichi puts on his like happy fun time gear onto Dante, just hang me from the ceiling.
Oh dear. I can't wait for the day when we can fully trust you.
D100 for me, please.
Sorry, D100.
You can't wait to the when? Sorry?
The day when we can fully trust you and I don't need to put you in the bondage gear.
Are we talking D&D? Or...
Oh, darling, you wish.
86.
There is one room available.
Okay.
Yes.
It is it's set up more like a double single bed, if that makes sense. So it's like for couples more than it is for two separate
Aileni
solo
could
travelers.
lie across it diagonally.
Oh, so easily. And, but also there's enough room for Volu to fit there as well. But yes, you are able to get a room. It is 6 silver a night. That is including your food in the morning.
That's easily done. Okay, let's stay here tonight, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy to stay here tonight. I am kind of wanting to go back to the Rust Bucket because I did like Ilora, but
we don't have to stay here every night, but it makes sense if we've got to be up early in the morning.
The same. And with everything that's gone on, it's better to be here.
Also, at some point, we can just
how to lose friends and alienate people.
Yeah, we can just go to like your guys' tavern as there's actually an established relationship there.
Hey, there was a relationship being established.
She has not. She has not been seen since.
Yeah, she hasn't shown up to work since.
I mean,
it's only 7:30. She's on the night shift.
This is also in Volu's head. All he got was an extra bit of food, and he's now in love with this woman. So
she gave him an extra spoonful.
Yeah.
But yes,
Volu's heart.
Yeah.
Didn't even have to put her in any bondage.
Yet.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yes, you eventually would retire to your separate rooms. Is there anything either of the pairs wants to do before fully resting?
I will be putting Dante into the Efreet containment gear.
That's
Um,
doing that. He's going to. I don't know if Dante knows much about this. Hang on, I'm just gonna check something. Oh, it'd be great if my screen was working. Magic circles.
Mhm.
Do they work with
Any extra planar being?
yeah. And well, to be fair, my Arcana is like
You
under
would,
my zero actually, so
Ichi would know, and you probably have discussed this before. Doesn't work while he's in your body.
that was what I was gonna ask.
It is definitely what you would do if you were like, so probably you have spoken about this, about the different methods that, trying to extract him, trying to do this, trying to do that. Like, even any discussion around you dying, realistically, you want to do that while you're in a magic circle.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it's the magic circle that would stop. It would still free him, and now you've got him in a magic circle. You've got to deal with that, but it stops them running wild. It also prevents them, in most cases, possessing another person. But to be honest, from what you guys all have researched, genies aren't known for possessing people. Like, he didn't do this. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, it was never the genie's intention to be in
Possess
this mortal,
Dante, yeah.
to be in this mortal form. That it's not you. That's not the normal genie shtick. So that's probably some of the reasons why you and your master Ichi never suspected an Afriti until it was too late.
Mhm.
Because you were probably looking at, like, infernal ghosts and those sorts of things, or even devils and demons. But also why the research is just not there. It doesn't exist. And Afriti has never possessed a person before, so we don't know how to freaking get them out. So
I don't
that's
think that where it came from. Also help me.
But yes. So over quickly for so Aileni and Volu.
yeah.
Anything you want to do before? I assume you might want to discuss or.
So as I'm leaving the room, I would say to Ichi, have you done everything you need to do outside of this room?
For tonight, I believe so. Yes.
Don't leave. And I'm going to close the door and I'm going to set the alarm up on their door in the corridor.
Okay. Is it in your head or loud?
In my head.
Okay.
But whereas I'd normally put it on the inside of my door, I'm putting it like on their door. So if
Mhm.
anybody comes out, it'll tip me off. And then as we go into our room, I'd sort of close the door and say to Volu, how long can somebody be dead for a cleric to bring them back?
This is the end of part 1. Part 2 airs Sunday 7 PM GMT, or will be linked in the top right of your screen now. Thank you for watching, and roll well.